Welcome back to another episode. Today I'm speaking with Aleksa, one of our Bulb members. We speak a lot about mindset in our community, and having a positive mindset really can help you become very successful and live a beautiful life. I'm inspired by all my members. When they join our community, we become like kind of besties. We become part of one of the family. I want to know about all my members' stories, and I really want them to lead their best life. I want to introduce you to one of our members, Aleksa. When you meet someone and then you're like, oh my God, wow, they're really cool. And then that's exactly what I felt about her. Even though we've never met until today, that's how I felt about her. And it was like an instant connection, like through words. And she has like positive energy just radiating out of her. And I just wanted to have her on the show. So I want to highlight her journey and how unique it is. You're going to soon find out how amazing it really is and how amazing she is. So welcome to the episode, Aleksa.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask her a bunch of questions, and she's going to answer as authentic as she can. So share a bit about yourself.
So I'm Aleksa. I joined the Evolve community at the beginning of December in 2020. So I'm still relatively new to this group, but I feel like I've been part of this community forever, but in the best possible way.
That's awesome. Tell us about you, your family.
So I have two boys, 5 and 7. So that's been challenging for, I guess, fitness wise as well, to make myself a priority at some point and to put more value into what I'm doing
Yeah.
for me. So that's been great.
Yeah, awesome. Have you always been active and healthy?
um, yeah, I guess here and there. I guess you could say that at certain stages of my life, I was definitely more active. But I'd say I was least active right after I had my first baby. I had zero motivation to be active, to be honest. That was way down the ladder in terms of what was important at that point. Having a good night's sleep with a teething baby and having an actual hot coffee
Yeah.
was higher on my list. But hindsight is 2020. Would it have been beneficial for me to be more active at that point, even though I was feeling tired? Absolutely. I should have done that, but like I said, hindsight. I've been relatively healthy eater for quite some time now. I'd say that in the last 3 to 4 years, I've really invested the time into, researching about nutrition and how it affects the body, especially, in relation to reducing effects of disease and inflammation in the body.
Wow. And did you notice your health take a turn?
Yes, I have. So in the summer of 2019, my toes started to go numb. Like that feeling when your shoes are too tight. But it went away after a few days. And then a few months later, the numbness came back. And this time it started to, travel up. It went to my knees, it went to my hips, and then it went to my belly. And on the Thanksgiving weekend of 2019, I went to the ER to get checked out. After a very brief visit, there's not much they did really. And I called to the on-call neurologist. I was told that I would need an MRI and was discharged with no real answers. So then flash forward to a bunch of MRIs and a ton of blood work later. I got a call in October of 2020, so just a few months ago, to confirm that yes, I have officially been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and more specifically RRMS, which is relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, and that we needed to begin treatment right away.
Can you share with us, for those that are not familiar with multiple sclerosis?
Mm-hmm. So it's an autoimmune disease that affects the brain, the spinal cord, and optic nerves, basically the nervous system. So basically, my body is a little bit confused and it attacks itself. There's a fatty covering called myelin, and that protects the nerves, and it's needed to transmit messages. That if the myelin gets damaged, the nerve impulses are disrupted. So, and that varies from anything minor interruptions to total blockage. So think of it kind of like electrical wiring. If the wire gets cut, that signal can't get from point A to point B. The damage or lack of communication can affect anything from physical changes like vision problems and numbness and muscle spasms, mobility, vertigo, to emotional and cognitive changes like fatigue and anxiety and depression.
Wow.
There are so many symptoms with MS, making this one of the reasons it can take quite some time to be diagnosed properly. It shares a lot of the symptoms with other conditions like Lyme disease, vitamin deficiencies, structural damages to the CNS, and tumors. So these all need to be ruled out before you can be properly diagnosed, which is why it can take some time.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, there was a lot of blood work, and there was a few MRIs of my brain, my whole spinal cord, to narrow it down. I didn't really know a lot about what MS was. I had no idea that Canada had one of the, or has one of the highest rates of MS in the world, and that women are actually 3 times more likely to be diagnosed than men. Most people are diagnosed between 20 and 50. And unfortunately, because there is no cure, the unpredictable kind of effects of MS can affect someone for the rest of their life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, like, are there different stages of MS? Like, when you're diagnosed, like, does it relate back to the symptoms you're having?
Yeah, so the way that they diagnose is just based on like symptoms, what you're experiencing. So, like, even though I had very classic signs of what MS was back in, 2019, and
Mm-hmm.
then again, like throughout that year, it wasn't until I had, my second MRI and another relapse that my neurologist said, okay, that's what it is, because we needed the 2 MRIs to compare to see the lesions on the spine and the brain, the brainstem, and within the brain as well, to kind of compare and say, yeah, this is different. This is what's happening. It's progressing. You can definitely change. You can have just a clinically isolated syndrome, which had just happened once. It was a fluke, whatever happened. You can have what I have, RRMS, which is periods of remission followed by periods of relapses. And then it progresses as well. There's ones that, just don't go away,
Wow.
unfortunately.
And is there
So
a genetic component to MS?
there is a genetic component, but there doesn't have to be in order to receive the diagnosis. As far as we're aware of, nobody in my family is diagnosed with or MS whatsoever. So
Wow.
I'm just the special one.
Yeah, I guess you can look at it that way. Um, so as viewers are watching, I didn't know this about her. Okay, so let's kind of like take a little like time lapse. So how did you hear about Be Active Live Better?
Okay, so my friend, my friend joined your community last summer, and she had been raving about it for quite some time. And I noticed as well, like she was just radiant, and she was like happy, and she was like happy with herself and happy with her progress. But I always felt too fatigued, which is another huge symptom for those dealing with MS.
Mm-hmm.
And I had little to no motivation to get moving. Um, Once I was diagnosed, I spent about a month processing it and going through all these emotions. And then one day, like literally one day, I just kind of snapped out of it and decided I needed to take care of myself. And I remember going to my friend's house and saying, hey, I signed up. So I had already lost the feelings in my legs once, and I was determined not to take my movement or my activity for granted. Um, and I know I'm lucky to have so much mobility and that my muscles will still listen to my brain.
Yeah.
And I'm also very aware that symptoms can change at any moment, and I might not always be this lucky. So bottom line is that I have an immense gratitude for the fact that I can still get up every morning. I
Mm-hmm.
can walk downstairs. I can work out. I can move. So like, what's that saying? Like, you don't know what it's got till it's gone.
Yeah.
I took my movement for granted before, and my mindset has totally changed now, and I'm not so naive or jaded anymore about it.
Wow. I have goosebumps just hearing you, because like it honestly brings a tear to my eye, because I did not know this about you. When you first, I did a check-in, so with all the members coming on board, and then, I give him a little, a week or two to process like a new program, a new thing. And then when I checked in with you and you shared a bit about your story, I literally, my jaw was like, what? Like, oh my gosh, like you are a walking, living breathing thing of what I promote. Like movement should never be taken for granted.
Mhm.
Positive mindset and like everything that I was saying is like you were living and breathing it. And I was like, I knew in the back of my mind, like I need to know this person. I want to find out more about your story because you really are an inspiration. And like it takes courage to do what you do. Like you just said, you just snapped out of it and said, I need to do something for myself. So, like, my next question is that is it proven that movement can help with the symptoms of MS?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been studies done that not just helping symptoms physically, but also mentally, depression, fatigue. It almost seems backwards if you think about it. Like a person dealing with MS, certainly fatigue is. I think it's 80% of people with MS experience fatigue. And so it's almost backwards to think, well, I'm so tired all the time. Why would I work out? Why would
Mm-hmm.
I stress my body out or stress your body out? But it's lots of studies, tons of them. When I started to look into it, say, no, working out is good for your mood. It's good for fatigue. And also it just increases your muscle, capacity and helps you do things that maybe you weren't able to do before. And if not, then at least it doesn't get worse.
Right. And have you noticed a difference in signing up in October till now?
Yeah, absolutely. I have never been a morning person, ever. I dreaded the fact that I set my alarm at like 5:45. I was like, oh dear Lord, how am I going to do this? But I wake up every day and I have more energy throughout the day. And I just feel, yeah, I'm not bogged down by the negative kind of things I can do. It's flipped. It's like, what can I do now?
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? Hey, I just lifted that. Hey, I just did that weird turny workout thingy. And like it's totally affected in not just physical ways, but mental as well.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So, what would you say it's like working out virtually? Like, talk to the viewers about, what you thought it was versus what it really is.
What I thought is like, okay, so what's the difference between doing, like something that you just like Google and like, oh, that's a workout class and you do it. And then you shut your computer down, you go upstairs, whatever. And I thought, okay, yeah, so I'm going to be working out and I can see her. She can't see me. That's good because I'm in pajamas, but like whatever. And, but then it's like, I noticed a huge difference. I loved knowing that other people around me were, were doing it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that I didn't have to like, drive myself to the gym. I didn't need all this equipment. Some days all we use is just ourselves.
Yeah.
We have no weights, we have no bands, we have nothing. And it's just so easy. All the excuses are out the window. I don't have to wake up and go drive somewhere. I just literally set my alarm for 7 minutes before class starts and I go downstairs and I get my shoes on. And I just love knowing that like my friends and neighbors and everyone's working out at the same time, even though we're not physically together.
Mm-hmm. So, would
Yeah.
you say, what's the community like? So, you kind of touched upon it. Do you feel like the community is beneficial to our online classes?
Oh my God, absolutely. Absolutely. There's days that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, man. And other friends just knowing that having that accountability of just
Mm-hmm.
other people that are doing it at the same time. And even if it's not even about a workout, even if it's about, you post recipes and nutrition and self-care and, or just stretching and just like, it's not just about the workout itself. The whole community is just like all encompassing, which is super fun to be a part of because it's a
Amazing.
huge difference. It's not just like you go to the gym and you come back
Yeah.
and you meet nobody there and you have no idea. Like there's joking, there's laughing, there's this. Like it's awesome. It's so fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Do you have a favorite class? I'm always curious to ask members this.
Oh, favorite class. I don't know. Honestly, like the great thing about all the classes is that they're so different.
Mm-hmm.
They're all unique. I don't know if I can pick one favorite. I think I could pick two maybe. Tuesdays, I love the metabolic meltdowns. Fridays, I love the step because it's Friday, so it's just like fun, and everyone's in like this crazy fun mood.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, my favorite, just I don't know. I like all the classes for different reasons,
Hmm.
but my favorite is just that I can do them in my basement by myself. I know I'm not alone though,
Yeah.
because I know you're working out right then and there. I know my neighbor is. I know my friend is. I know friends a few cities away are doing it.
That's
And we're
amazing.
all doing it together without actually being together physically.
I
So,
love that. Like that's like it really warms my heart when I hear things like that because when we pivot online, that was like the number one thing, aside from like delivering quality classes was that I want people to feel like I'm giving them a hug. I want people to be like, "Oh my god, like I'm drinking with somebody." I don't want them to feel alone. And just hearing that is like, yes, like people, we are virtually connecting. Like I said, I have never met Aleksa in person, okay? But through her words, I was like, I know her. She's my girlfriend. And then now it's validating that, like, yeah, she's a cool person, and I always knew it. So okay, I love that. Okay, one thing that your story is just so inspiring. Okay, I know I keep saying it, but like, really, it just validates that movement can bring more than just the vanity. So,
mhm.
what would be one piece of advice you would offer someone who's just starting out thinking, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not fit enough to do this.
um, you're not alone because you're not the first and only person who's thought that. Um, but one piece of advice that really resonated with me is just that you're always able to better yourself to some capacity. For some people, an exercise might be a full weightlifting class. For others, it might just be a single dumbbell because that's all they can handle that day. Or others, it's just stretching in a calm yoga class. Understanding and listening to what your body needs is really important, that I found, and respecting that is huge. If you can manage to walk around the block or across the room, that's fine. Start with it and keep it up, and in time you're going to build up that strength, and the ability to do so much more. And I know it sounds totally cliche, but it's really stuck with me, is that just be 1% better than yesterday, whether it's nutrition, whether it's nutrition or exercise,
Yeah.
or mindfulness and self-care. Over time, that 1% adds up, and you'll be amazed at the journey it takes you on.
Oh my God, I love that. Goosebumps. I love it. Okay, tell us a bit about you got something going on the side. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I have a blog. I started it after I was diagnosed with MS. I didn't know how to tell my family or friends about what was going on.
Mhm.
I was also hesitant to say anything to anyone because I just didn't want to relive all those emotions each time I
Mhm.
explained what was happening, and what I was going through. I just felt like stuck. I wanted them to know, but I didn't know how to get it out. It's not an everyday conversation to have. Like,
Yeah.
hey, how's your weekend? Did you try that wine that so and so mentioned? Oh, hey, I have MS. Like, it
Yeah.
just doesn't come out naturally. So I thought, wouldn't it just be nice to like rip that band-aid off and just get it out there? So the thought came to mind, like, why don't I just write about it? And that way my family from like across the country can read it, my friends can read it. And so yeah, so I started a blog. And I was so shocked at how well it was received. I felt a huge sense of relief, knowing that it was out there in the open.
Wow.
So now I'll just post, here and there about different things going on with my treatment or my experiences, symptoms, whatnot. And it's just been really nice to share that with everyone. It's been like therapeutic in a way,
Mhm.
an outlet for expression, and to get it out there, from when I haven't felt like saying it. So yeah, it's called Mind Over Myelin, and it's on Instagram, and I have a little bloggy website.
I love it.
Oh,
For
thanks.
those that want to know more about her story, I will share her blog as well because I've peeked it and it's really great. I mean, you
Thanks.
definitely are a very creative person. And I honestly, I love everything about you. I
Thanks.
really do. I mean, you are a breath of fresh air. You're super positive. And, that saying, it says that, hang around with people that you want to aspire to be like. Well, I want to aspire to be like you. I'll be positive. And I love what you're doing. And you really do inspire me every single day. So keep it up, okay?
Oh, thank you. I mean,
Uh,
same goes to you, honestly. Like I feel just so grateful to that we have, you to like, for accountability and the fact that you reach out to us and see if we need anything. And hey, I tried this and I really think this is a great recipe and it was easy and quick, or like, and just keeping it real too. Like we're moms, and even if you're not a mom, like,
yeah.
you're a working person, and it's just like, not everything is always just like beautiful. Sometimes stuff goes sideways, but you're always there to like pick us back up and encourage us to be our best selves. And I
Oh.
I appreciate that so much.
Thank you so much. It goes both ways. I want to thank you so much for chatting with me today. If we can help, one person just understand that movement can bring so much more, and just hearing your story, someone could be going through the same thing. That's the whole point of these, is just to help and build each other up and keep our community strong. So thank you so much. You do rock. I love you.
You.
All right, everybody, tune in. I'm going to post her blog, and reach out if you want more information on MS, because she's a wealth of knowledge and she's going right through it right now. Okay, so thanks so much, and we'll talk soon.